Hello and welcome back to X-Plane 11. This is episode number 3 in my series, and in this episode we're going to be focusing on a bit of navigation using VOR. We're going to take a short flight today. Let's open up the map. Now I've already flown this route going here just to get used to it as part of my sort of learning efforts. So essentially we're only going to do the reverse. So I'm taking off from here, Echo Golf Uniform Bravo. We're going to be flying over to Charlie Papa Tango, the VOR. And then the idea is that from there we will go back to Echo Golf Victor Alpha that we were playing around with in episode 1 of the series. So that's the plan. Let's put it into fruition. I'm going to pop this out as per usual just so that I can see it. There we go. And I keep that on a second monitor. I need to get the... I'm just going to turn the battery on for now. I don't want to start the engine up. There is a C-90 waiting for me just down at the end of the runway, but I'm not really bothered. He can wait as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure what's happened to the mixture. Let's pop that back in. Must have accidentally pulled that out somewhere along the way. But this is our flight computer. And we need to add a couple of waypoints. So I'm going to scroll down and then go into here. And then we want Charlie Papa Tango as our first waypoint. Get that set in. Charlie Papa Tango, which is Compton, UK. We're then going to enter that in and accept it. And then for my next waypoint is going to be Echo Golf Victor Alpha. So Echo Golf Victor Alpha. Oh, whoops, zoomed in a little bit. Echo Golf, come on, Victor. There you are, Echo Golf Victor Alpha, which is RAF Fairford. Let's enter and enter again to accept that. So, Charlie Papa Tango, we need to fly, I believe this is how it works, at a heading of 212. So we have the CDI here set to 212. And I think that does it by itself. We select nav. Yeah. Pretty sure that's how that works. Again, I'm not quite sure what the difference is between GPS and nav. But I'm just going to stick it on nav and see what happens. I've also been playing around with the autopilot, so I will mess with that, because it is a bit of a longer flight than I've done previously. But let's get the engine on, so we want the fuel pump. And then let's get the engine started, make sure the throttle is all the way out, it is. There we go, right, we have engine start. Let's get the alternator on, get our beacon, landing lights, nav lights, chuck our taxi lights on as well, why not? We've already got the pitot heat on. Let's get the yoke visible. And what I'm actually going to do is set my heading lock here to 212 as well. Let's zoom in and make sure this is right. So there's 21, 212, there we are. So that is the heading that I need to fly. Let's release the parking brake and start our takeoff roll. Actually get out of the way of this C-90 that's down the end. So beginning our roll, let's get full throttle. I'm actually going to reduce one set of flaps or one notch of flaps. Let's rotate. And we are up and away. And now this is where I'm going to use the autopilot. So I want it to hold my vertical speed at a positive climb of, let's go for 700 feet per second. And activate that. Okay, I'm not sure where it's trying to take me off to the side. Let's also put it on heading lock. Again, I'm not quite sure how this works, but I think we're good there. So this is going to try and keep me at a 700 feet per second climb, and it's got my heading lock on 212, which should be my direction to the VOR. Now I do need to get this in the centre, I believe, and I have 8 miles to do that in. So on our approach, let's adjust our heading to the west a little bit. Let's go to, what, 215 is that? A little bit over 215. Actually, we might need a bit more of a turn on there. Like so, and the idea is that I want to bring this CDI back to centre. It is moving. And again, I could be making mistakes. I'm still not 100% sure on how this works, but I think I'm doing this correctly. Okay, I'm going to reduce a notch of flap, and then the autopilot will correct itself using the trim to keep that 700 feet per second climb. Have a quick look around while we're doing this. Let's have a look at the scenery. It all looks very nice. So the game decided to throw a little bit of a wobbly as I was looking at the scenery down here. So I'm not going to zoom in as far. I think that might have caused a little bit of an issue. But yeah, like I was saying that you probably won't have heard before, there's some pretty nice scenery around here. Lots of little towns. They could do with a bit more of sort of a variety in terms of the building style. Like you zoom in and they all look exactly like the same building. There's a couple of different ones and a couple of different colours, but for the most part it's just the same. Let's keep an eye on our instruments here. So now I've gone too far to the east. Sorry, too far to the west, so I need to bring my course back. I wasn't paying attention to that. Let's go a little bit left of 121. Sorry, 212 even. I've still got my 700 feet per second climb on. I am tempted to bring that down. Oh, hello, I'm stalling. Oh, it's because I'm on altitude hold, not speed. Okay, I was not expecting that. Autopilot is disengaged. I don't want you on altitude. What? I don't understand what's going on here. Vertical speed. Autopilot. Maybe I'm just trying to climb too quickly. Let's level out then. Have our vertical speed at 0, and then have our heading lock on. And then we can back off on the throttle a little bit. Right, that'll do. Back off on the speed a slight amount. So we are heading for Charlie Papa Tango, but again we've moved off of our point. Getting a little bit distracted here. I'm not paying attention to the CDI as much as I should be. A few more degrees over. Now I do have a bit of traffic. That Charlie 90 has taken off behind me. He's miles away. And somewhere way up high is going to be a 737. That's also... he's going just to the south of Charlie Papa Tango. I am way off this point. Let's get rid of the heading hold. And I'm manually going to fly this. It will continue to try and hold my vertical speed at 0. So we'll see how that works. Now as we're getting in close, slight changes are going to make a big difference. Let's get my autopilot, or so at least my heading, locked to 299. That's going to be 29. Yeah, so heading to 299, which is down here, saying. So right turn to 299 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go. So we now need to make a turn to 299. 300 there. 299 is set on the autopilot. So I'm just going to bring myself around. To 299. Like so. Let's level off and set the heading lock on 299. Right, we now have, what is it, 24.2 miles. Let's make sure we set the next waypoint as the active one. Menu, activate leg, enter. Right, so we have 22 miles to cover. So I'm going to gain a bit more altitude. To go up at 300 feet a minute. Yeah, I'm going to bring myself up to about 4,000 feet and cruise there. In the meanwhile, I am going to have a quick look at the scenery. Let's speed the video up a little bit, just so that we can press on. And yeah, sort of show you what I'm looking at. So, enjoy this. It's just going to be a little look at the scenery. And occasionally I'll keep flicking back to the controls, just so that I can see what's going on. I'm really not worried about monitoring the CDI for this one, because I know the heading to the airport. I'm just going to fly there and then do a visual landing. I do have traffic off my left-hand side. I believe he's at a much higher altitude. Yeah, so he's up at 11,000 feet. Chances are we won't even see it. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to speed this up. Enjoy the view. I just realised that I forgot to turn my landing lights, my taxi lights, and my strobe off and on respectively. And I should probably turn the fuel pump off as well. Oops. Right, so here we are. We are approaching Echo Golf Victor Alpha, or RAF Fairford. I can see it just over there in the distance. There's the runway. So I'm going to make a turn. I guess this would be my base leg. I need to bring my altitude down a long way. But again, I don't want to sink like a stone though, so we'll keep it about 1,000 feet per minute. And I need to start lining up correctly for runway. It's going to be a landing on runway 27. I'm going to get myself about 90 degrees to the airfield-ish. And like I said, we just need to start bringing our altitude down nice and quickly. Towards the end of the little flight there, I did use the vertical speed to bring myself down. Just to start my descent sort of thing. But I now need to finish it manually. Right, how are we doing? There's the airfield. It's being blocked by my little view. I would like to get track IR, I think, at some point, just so I can look around a bit easier. Because with track IR, you'll be able to move your head out of the way and see round the beam sort of thing. There probably is a key to do it, but right now I've got other things to worry about. There's the runway just coming into view over my left shoulder there. How are we doing? We're still descending very nicely. We're just coming up on 2,000 feet here. So yeah, today's flight has been sort of getting used to the autopilot, working out a few quirks with it and things like that, and just generally using it to fly. I also did a VOR approach on Charlie Papa Tango using the CDI. Not very well, it has to be said. I'm probably going to do another video like this using the CDI and actually pay a lot more attention to it. Right, how are we doing? Doing alright. I need to turn in. I'm going to stop my descent, or my quick descent right now. Let's swap the fuel tank back to both for landing. And we've used, what, a little bit of fuel out of the right tank. Not too bad. I'm going to start turning in for my final approach now. Reduce the power slightly and give it 10 degrees of flap. Okay, continuing our turn in. Should see the airfield out of the front window very shortly. There we are in the distance. Turned a bit sharp, so we need to bring ourselves in. And I think I might even be a bit low for the glide slope. But we can correct for that, that's not a problem. Get a bit more power on the go. Then continue our turn in. Okay, I can see the PAPI lights already, and we are extremely low. Oh, hello. Game dropped a little bit of frame rate then. We're doing okay. I'm going to try and gain a little bit of altitude here. Or at least not drop anymore. As I am well off of the glide slope. There we are. We got one white light down the end there. Assuming we're going to get two very shortly. Start getting ourselves turned onto the centre line. There's the two white, two red lights. Need to keep my speed up a little bit. I think in my previous landings I've been going quite a bit too slowly to really sort of get control over my aircraft. Right, and now a little bit high on the glide slope, so let's bring myself down. It looks like I have overcorrected slightly. Okay, now we are very too high. Let's get 20 degrees of flap out. We're about to break through 1,000 feet. There we are, we're getting back into the glide slope now. But at the same rate, I don't want to blow right through the bottom of it as well. And overcorrect. to be honest, we're in such a light plane on such a long runway. I'm a bit too high, it's not really a problem. It's just if I am too low, I don't actually land on the runway. That could be an issue for me. Alright, we're at 600 feet. Dropping at about 3,000 feet per minute. And we're at a good speed for landing. Back on the glide slope. Just under 500 feet. It's 400. Probably about 100 above now. Oh! Brilliant. Be advised, GPS runtime error, end of route. Please provide flight plan for bug report. Understood. Is that the game completely bugged out? It is. That's going to be the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching. Unfortunately I couldn't have landed. We had a little bit of a bug. But it is a game that is in beta. If you did like the video, then obviously please leave it a like. If you want to see more, you can check the playlist link in the description, and obviously also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.